All right, on the play for the second league of today. I'm gonna keep this hand.
Baby. What am I supposed to not forget?
This is November 29th.
Yeah.
I feel like we've already like handled all of our responsibilities.
I thought it was the Full Metal Alchemist thing, but that's October 3rd.
I don't know what you're talking about with that.
The pocket watch.
What?
The Full Metal Alchemist pocket watch. Don't forget.
Is there...
Chat, tell him. Tell him, chat.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, I told them.
You told them.
Was I not supposed to tell them?
No, I don't care.
I don't know what you're not supposed to forget. If you weren't supposed to forget it, you probably should have like written.
That's your handwriting. I don't write that ugly. Plus you forgot the G.
I think it says don't force it.
What does that mean?
I don't know. But that is my handwriting. Maybe I was drunk and playing a prank on you. I don't know. No.
Maybe. I thought it was the Full Metal Alchemist one.
I don't know. I don't recall writing that. Storm again. Wow.
Of course you don't remember.
Storm is a good matchup. It's kind of relaxing to get to play against Storm a couple times after playing against 3 Omnath decks in a row, which is just such a stressful matchup sometimes. I think I'm getting Prairie Stream so that way I could fetch up a Hallowed Fountain and Path if I need to. But I'd probably rather fetch Steam Vents end of turn or maybe Sanctuary for Remand. Oh, it's the same player. Missed that. Is it Jeskai all day today? I also rented Blue-Red Boyle Breach, and my plan was like, if this was going really bad, we'll see how Boyle's doing. And I might still play like one league of that, but probably mostly Jeskai today. Do I think the Fire Flagstones interaction is what makes this deck good, or do you think Jeskai could actually just be an okay control deck again? I mean, it's like a combination of both, right? I think Cleansing Wildfire Flagstones is what Jeskai needed to be a good control deck in Modern. You know, it's great. It's, you know, ramp for your Planeswalkers, and it's great interaction against your opponent's problematic lands, and I think it just is a great Magic card in general. And, you know, there just really wasn't drawing... There wasn't much drawing a control deck to be Jeskai over any other color combination until Cleansing Wildfire. It's like Helix is fine, but it's not like enough to like completely be a whole different color combo. Do I think there's a build of Tribal Flames that could be playable in the meta? We put together a Tribal Flames deck kind of recently that seemed okay. I'm going to remand this. We're pretty likely to hit a land off of either the Wildfire or the Remand. And like if we don't, it's likely we find a different piece of interaction. So a land is a Cryptic Command, and then another spell is likely something to interact with them. So we drew something to interact with them. Yeah, I think that Fatal Push is the best of the, you know, a big part about figuring out what control deck you want to play in Modern is figuring out what is the best one-mana removal spell at the moment. Is it Bolt, Path, or Push? And I think that Push is the best right now. Have I seen anyone playing Bloodchief's Thirst in Modern, or is Fatal Push just better? I've played some Bloodchief's Thirst in Modern, and I am of the opinion that... Sorry, let me just cast this. I'm of the opinion that Push is just better for the most part. Just the instant speed matters so much, even in decks that, you know, aren't playing a lot of instants. It's just like when you're on the play and you're holding up your removal spell, and your opponent plays a turn 1 Soulscar Mage or Monastery Swiftspear, and you can't use that mana immediately. It's a really big deal. The instant speed matters a lot. But I think that it is a fine if you want like 5-ish copies of Fatal Push in your deck. I think that is totally something. I think I want to bend the Manamorphose and the Desperate Ritual. think that's just totally fine.
You using this?
What's up?
You using this blanket?
No.
I will give it to Athena.
Okay. Yeah, we found out that Athena just loves blankets. Yeah, I'm glad. That was a great match, Kodal. I'm gonna make sure my YouTube guy uploads that league. Yeah, Bloodchief's Thirst is definitely a modern playable card. I just don't think it's usually going to be much better than any number of Fatal Push. You know, Wrenn and 6 is also like a pretty popular card at the moment, and just the fact that Thirst answers it pretty efficiently is nice too. I'm just going to Cryptic this. Cryptic Command's pretty unwieldy. We still have Force up too. So we just played this guy. I believe that this was my sideboard plan. In the anger, 2 disputes, 2 gust, cut 2 pass, wildfire, and trim a cryptic. Did I reach a conclusion on rogues yesterday? It's playable in the sense that, you know, you can play it in, you know, 3-2 leagues, you know. You could probably 5-0 league if you played a ton with the deck. And it seems like a good, maybe casual deck, maybe a good F&M deck. Not something that is going to, you know, redefine the modern meta or be a tier deck, really. But it was a lot of fun, and, you know, I think it's maybe something you could, like, really work hard on, and maybe there's something about rogues that is specifically good in a certain meta, and you could play it in a tournament, but probably not going to be too much better than that. Really fun to brew with, though. Yeah, that's, you know, most brews end up that way, and I think that's totally fine to have, you know, kind of reasonable expectations. Yesterday I was working on a brew. I've just been thinking about like Soul Herder / Ephemerate shells that could get to play Suppression Field. So I think Suppression Field is really underplayed in Modern, and so I kind of came up with this, and I 3-2'd a league with it last night and felt okay, but it's probably not going to be something I ever stream with, just because I don't think it is, you know, all that powerful or good. Just like almost there, not quite. Gonna be testing any of the brews this week or coming up. I for the most part just try to stick with my game plan of only like play decks on stream that I have tested. I don't want to just like make it a regular thing where I'm testing brews on stream. I know some people like it, but you know what I have found success with is testing off stream. And so when you come to the stream and you see a spicy title or a title you like, you know, I've at least played some matches with it and think that it's good enough to play. But, you know, the occasional get some inspiration, go off script is fun, but yeah. I had a really good time yesterday. It was a lot of fun. Remand by Wildfire, that's fine. I'll just let that come back to my hand. Hey, I spoke. I'm probably going to go for a fun Raveler here. Any spicy lists in the queue for tomorrow? Yeah, so donation deck Thursday tomorrow. We have a full queue. We're playing... I have been asked to brew up something spooky, which may just end up being blue-black zombies, but I'm going to try to... I've got some ideas. I'm hoping to find something pretty cool. A spooky Halloween deck. And then we have Witch's Cottage Goblins, which I think is very cool idea. The mana base is, you know, kind of interesting, but Witch's Cottage does seem interesting in Modern in general, and in a Goblin shell seems like something worth testing. And then I have been asked to play any deck with Time Warp in it. So I'm probably going to play a Uro Omnath Time Warp deck, but potentially, you know, this is not the first time I've been asked to brew up a Taking Turns deck, and there was a really cool Jeskai list that I had. You play Scales at all? I 5-0'd with Hardened Scales the last time I played it, and that was also a donation deck. I would say that I am proficient in Scales, but probably not an expert. I'm gonna go ahead and Bolt the Bird. Classic Modern. Opponent mold the 6 on the play. Windswept Teeth, Breeding Pool, Birds. You know, obviously a Bant deck. What flavor of Bant? A little, you know, yet to be seen. I'm just gonna hold up Remand for this turn, and maybe we go Bolt plus Remand on turn 3. We did 5-0, yeah. We're currently 6-0 on the day. I will, I think, just go ahead and Bolt EOT. If they have Spell Queller, we can like Snap Bolt. I guess that opens us up to Teferi. But whatever. They have Teferi, we have at least a 2-1 in play. I mean, these like Bant decks just have been floating around for a while, and people really like Spell Queller and they really want it to be good, and I don't think it's great, personally. Yeah, we've been 5-0ing a ton with Wildfire. I do think this deck is really good in the format. We are just running into Queller here, maybe unnecessarily. Yeah. Yeah, maybe unnecessarily. What do I think the best version of blue-white is? Maybe this deck. I know it's it's Jeskai, not blue-white. I'm not sure if that just doesn't answer your question. But this is the best. This is the blue-white X deck I've been having the most success with. That enters tapped. Archon plus Spellcaller is pretty good. Yeah, Mystic Sanctuary, no downsides. Was I supposed to shock to hold up Force? I don't think so. Can I cut the Tarfire from the main deck for a Goblin Chieftain? Sure. Let me make a note to myself. And it's Queller, Archon, 2 mystery cards. I think holding up Hardcast Force is good enough to play the Flagstones over a tapped Fountain here. Okay, that is their only spell they can play this turn, and they can't play a spell on our turn, of course. So I guess we just bounce the Archon. And then Wildfire our own Flagstones, probably. It's a fine draw. I think I'll just get back a Helix. Game is pretty over, I think. I'll just leave the illusion back to block the Hierarch. We have plenty of time. One of our opponent's 2 cards is Spell Queller, which is a little worse against Teferi Time Raveler. Still a 2/3 flyer for 3. Would never let my opponent draw extra cards. Icewing Kotal is literally a 2-mana Cryptic Command, by the way. Literally a 2-mana Cryptic Command. Yeah, I listen to music now during the stream. For the longest time I wasn't. But I've really enjoyed it. I just feel like my energy is way higher if I'm just listening to some tunes in the background. Right now I'm listening to Oliver Tree. Just like background music to focus a bit, I guess. Usually have it pretty quiet. This is probably one of the biggest strengths to Bant is like there aren't too many, like people aren't gearing to beat you and they often don't have much of a sideboard. I think I'd like to play 2 Force for Coco and Teferi and Veil of Summer. And maybe 2 Remand. Play 1 Gust. Yeah, Oliver Tree is great. I've never really understood Oliver Tree's like persona that he does, but I enjoy his music a lot. What are the odds I want to path something this turn? Feels low, but I would path an Archon, so I'll play a Flooded Strand. Like if we don't path Archon, we can't snap bolt Archon. I mind peeking at the sideboard for Soul Rider. Alright, quick peek. Getting basic planes does mean we can't cast a Cryptic Command on curve, but that's probably fine.
Am I going to the dentist or am I going to go?
Can you pick up some teeth for me?
Teeth?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what? You want fangs? You want molars? You want...
Just give me a bundle.
Okay, like a variety pack?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Men or women? Are men's teeth bigger?
I
never thought of that.
There may be some.
Like,
what do they call it? Sexual dimorphism?
I understand
like
if men's skulls are bigger. Cause
yeah, I would say
skull.
that. I would say probably different.
Yeah.
Let's find out.
Let's find out. Athena, yay! Stay with Betty. Yay! Lay down. Come here. Come here. Lay down. Yes.
We've got a dental lab man in chat. Esther says yes, men's teeth are bigger.
Okay. We love to hear it.
Really hope they don't hit an Archon, because I'd rather snap bolt something here. Ooh. Let's see what they get with this Stoneforge. Now you get Batter Skull, so I'm gonna snap bolt the Ooze while they don't have green mana. And then we can go Teferi plus Helix if we want to. That's bad. They get Sword of Feast and Famine. Guy Fieri 11 months in a row, one more so we get the full year. Very cool. Welcome back. So this can Mystic Sanctuary back path if we draw another island, which seems pretty important against Sword of Feast and Famine. The Last Bad Ombre. Hell yeah, welcome back, dude. Good username. I guess we can Helix this next turn. You know, one of their 3 cards is Batter Skull. Hopefully the other 2 aren't too good. Second Teferi is kind of interesting. They're considering Coco Mana versus Batter Skull. Alright, then we're going to need the classic whiff of a Collected Company here. I guess they don't have Coco. Maybe they're worried about Force. Surely if they have Coco, they're not going to let me untap 2 mana before they Coco. Right? Yeah. They could have Queller for sure, but it's also not like we need this Lightning Helix to resolve 100%. I guess if they... Yeah, I mean, if they put in Batter Skull and then equip to the Ice Fang, we just Helix in response and they can't do anything with the amount of mana they have up. No particular reason, Particle. I do love Glasspool Mimic. They're going to copy Noble Hierarch to try to kill Teferi. Huh. Then they Queller this. Yeah. Teferi down. You could wait till attacks before Exalted triggers. Yeah, I guess. I'm gonna play Jace. I'm in a tough game. Good morning, Fish. Still have game 3 if we lose this one. We're currently 6-0 on the day, so I'd like to keep this win streak going. It's been a long time since we 5-0'd back-to-back leagues. Let me look at where I'm at. I'm still just kind of low on the leaderboard. One more 5-0 would like keep me on the front page for a bit, though. Their hand is Batter Skull Mystery card. I'm gonna block here. Yeah, we do have 1 anger in the deck. A decent amount of looks. Gusting Ice Fang doesn't feel great, but if we get to keep Jace alive, that will feel great. Alright, this was the 1 unknown card, so next turn we can Path, Queller, Helix, Queller, Aether Gust, Ice Fang. But then there's a Batter Skull to deal with. I thought I shuffled that away. I mean, I did shuffle that away. I'm gonna hope that their top card is just not all like impactful. They know we have this path. It'll make their attacks tricky. Maybe I should have untapped one of these 2 to represent path plus Helix. Maybe they'll cast Nexus of Fate and we get to dispute it. Feels not very likely. Really, really tense game. You know, we are at 7 life. They may just like stop thinking about things and say right click attack with everything. They've got a spell. No, they're gonna equip onto Noble Hierarch. Which is kind of fine. I'd rather Gust the Hierarch. Alright, this guy at Teferi. This guy at Teferi. This guy at Teferi. This guy at me. This guy at Teferi. This guy at Teferi. Okay. So, if we Path, Helix, Gust, I guess. We lose the Teferi. I'm not sure how many outs we really have from this point. Oh no, that was a Glasspool Mimic. Oh, it wasn't. Oh no, it wasn't a Hierarch. It was a Glasspool Mimic. Just totally forgot. That's way worse. That's way worse. Okay, game 3. I really want to win. I want to keep the win streak alive. We're currently 6-0 on the day. Last time we played this deck, we went on a 12-match win streak, and you know, I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but it would be really sweet to do something similar today. Is it tough to play? The suit is comfortable. I'm comfortable. It sounds good. I'm more likely to fetch a Mountain at some point in this game because I have an Anger of the Gods than I am a Plane, so I guess I'll play Strand on turn 1. Fran has redeemed a deck tag. Alright. Oh no, it's a Stream Decker link. These can take some time to load. Okay, so I have played decks like this in the past. I am of the opinion that Lurrus as a companion is not better than Shark Typhoon, especially because you're just so light on win conditions. I am happy to not see Creeping Tar Pit, but like Lurrus is like your main win condition. Like Lurrus and Snapcaster beats just isn't enough. I'd rather just play Typhoon. I also don't like discard spells in blue-black control. I like to play 0 of those. I do like Shadow of Doubt. Let me pull up the latest list I had for Dimir. This is like the latest list I came up with, Fran. And the sideboard's like still a work in progress, but this is something I've been thinking a lot about, and I do think that Bloodchief's Thirst and Push are really good, and I like having access to a bunch of these. I would play, you know, I would play the 4th Push before the 1st Thirst, but I would play like 1 or 2 Thirst in addition to that. And probably 2 Clings in the main deck feel like a necessity against Uro. I am not a huge fan. I guess Feed the Swarm killing Rest in Peace is kind of nice. I'm not sure that you need it. I'd probably play a Spell Snare too. I do like the Tail's End. I think you also need a Nexus of Fate just because Mill is pretty tough without it. Those are my thoughts. And you can maybe take a look at the list I pulled up for some more inspiration, perhaps. Why don't I like Hand Disruption? Isn't Thoughtseize the best card in the deck? So I said this a little bit yesterday, but discard spells and counter spells don't usually play very well together. There are exceptions, like Stubborn Denial is good in the Shadow deck, but usually discard spells are inherently tempo negative because you are spending mana to not impact the board, and counter spells require you to be like staying about even on board, maybe trying to get ahead. And so like whenever you cast a discard spell and your opponent just has like 2 2-drops or 2 1-drops to play, and then they could get ahead on board, and then you're having all these counter spells in your hand while your opponent is getting ahead. It can be really, really bad for you. Their Teferi is better than ours. I'm supposed to get back bolts. I'm just going to bounce draw. We have 2 forces. I'm probably going to minus my Teferi looking for a force. Giver is a pretty great that they can play 2 threats this turn. Maybe we should just double Wildfire here. It's possible they only play 3 basics. Not impossible. They probably play more if they're on Ice Fang. Okay, we can Mystic Sanctuary, can play Hero of Dominaria next turn. I don't have the blue-black control deck on Stream Decker, or at least like not this version. I'll just hold up for a second. You can take a screenshot. And I don't know what I want my 15th sideboard card to be, but this is probably like the list I'd play if I had to start with a deck. Should have cut them off blue. Yeah. Not that they definitely don't have two islands, but I agree. Target the Hallowed Fountain, then target the island. Stoneforge Mystic. Getting a Batter Skull. Well, I think I'm going to Mystic Sanctuary back Lightning Bolts. Bolt this. Oh, they're attacking. Okay. That makes things easier, maybe? Oh, I didn't Mystic Sanctuary Lightning Bolts, but I just drew one anyways. That was really weird. That was really, really weird. Oh my gosh. Kind of stun locked. I think I do want to get another bolt here. And then I'm going to bolt the Stoneforge Mystic, and I think to just bounce there to Teferi with Cryptic. Let's kind of tie up their mana a bit. Do you think we need to bounce the Stoneforge Mystic, or sorry, bolt the Mystic there? It is nice for us also that they just missed a land and bouncing stuff to their hand while they have, no lands to play means it's gonna be harder for them to double spell. I guess I just spoke the bolt into existence rather than needing to draw step it. That was also, we only play 3 bolts, so that was the last bolt too. Love to draw a land and bolt their Giver and then tuck their Teferi. Hell yeah. Breathing a bit of a sigh of relief here. Coco, you can exclamation point deck, and then there's a link to a text version of this list. You can always do that when you pop into my stream or many other streamers' streams too. Draw a card with this before we do anything. Bounce this guy. Bounce this guy. Pass. Nice, nice. Okay. Cool. So we are 7-0 on the day. 7-0 on the day. Well, turn 2 Flagstone plus Wildfire is a hard start to mulligan. Another Steam Vent stack. I'm gonna play a basic mountain to maybe conceal what we're doing here a little bit. Yeah, Mink Coat tomorrow. Could be Storm. Could be Blue Moon. If it's Blue Moon, we can Wildfire ourselves for a basic Plains. We can also get a basic Plains now. Still could be Storm, still could be Blue Moon. The Hoppa, 7 months in a row. Hype back to you too, dude. They're gonna field everyone in response. This is fine. It's kind of the same. We just don't get to draw a card. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I've seen Field of Ruin and Blue Moon, but you are right. They don't usually play it, and it doesn't seem to be Blue Moon. Probably just an Uro pile. I'm going to draw a card. I really want to hit my land drop. Oh, so I guess we'll see if this resolves, I should say. But if it does resolve, I think I'm going to draw a card. And then if they ping it with Written 6, we get to Helix the Written 6 and kill it. We're 3-0 against Omnath so far today. We'll see if we can increase that to 4-0. I'm probably going to go for a Bolt Snap Bolt on the Written 6 here. I think I'll do that in their upkeep if they do nothing, or if they use Field of Ruin, I might do it in response to Field of Ruin. Or potentially use a Helix, Helix plus Bolt. Can I Helix? Snap Helix? No. Just do it in response. Gonna get a basic Plains, I suppose, and have my mana be bad. Should modern format be renamed Uro Pile Testing Lobby? Maybe. I feel like it hasn't been this bad. But it's possible that people are just like testing the Uro piles for the PTQ because that is what they perceive to be, you know, the best decks in the format, and maybe they're right. I think I'd rather snap Wildfire than just cast a Wildfire from my hand for mana efficiency here. Also, if they counter the Snapcaster, we can just cast Wildfire. They decided to Cryptic the Wildfire and not the Snapcaster. It's kind of interesting. I guess I wasn't supposed to tap the Sanctuary and hold up Hardcast Force instead of this. It's pretty bad. And now we can't force back. Okay, let's go to game 2. Tough game. Tough game. It's possible that this is Scape Shifts. Probably not, though. Alright, this has been my sideboard plan for basically all the Uro piles, cut the spot removal spells for the blue cards. And we're 3-0 against Omnath today. Can we increase that to 4-0? Alright, this hand's good. Where does Written 6 rank on your list of most powerful spells in Modern? Top 10, top 3? I'm not really much, really super into like top 10 lists or whatever, but not top 3, maybe top 10. Yeah, Scroll of Avacyn is much higher, of course. Yeah, I do think Written 6 is the piece of the puzzle that ties these decks together. I agree completely with that. They're missing their land drop. I'll just let them go to discard and not like run into a Veil of Summer. Who is the ramp deck now, opponent? They discard Uro. I think I'm just going to remand my own Wildfire and not let my opponent cantrip while they're missing land drops. What is the Nexus in the board for? It is mostly for the mill matchup. However, I also have found it to be really good in this matchup as well. Kind of accidentally, like I just was kind of boarding it in, and I ended up finding it to be really good. But you know, the original purpose was to beat Mill, and it is very good at beating Mill. And you know, it's just nice to have a Nexus of Fate in your sideboard in sideboard games against in control mirrors, because decking is a real concern. You know, you'll often draw 40, 50 cards of your deck, and the longer the games go, the better Nexus is, because you know, just the more you're going to draw it. And instead of decking being a concern when you have a Nexus in your deck, if you draw every card in your library, that is an infinite turn combo, basically. You cannot Surgical Nexus. There's no trigger to respond to. It never enters the graveyard. It's a replacement effect. Certainly, you know, probably much easier to play in paper. Or sorry, much easier to play on Magic Online than in paper. Which of the Spike deck has the best matchup versus Uro? The Through the Breach deck. Which I also have rented today. And maybe we'll play a league of that. Maybe we'll play 3 leagues of Jeskai and 1 of Breach. We'll see how things go. Am I wearing French cufflinks? I'll never tell. I'll never reveal the cufflinks. Alright, no Wrenn and 6 on turn 2 on the play without me having a force. No Wrenn and 6 on turn 2 on the play. That really is, like, I feel like just so important in this matchup, is to just not get Wrenned on turn 2. Am I going to Tails in this fetch? I think I am going to. Mana advantage is just such a big deal, but they play around it masterfully. Could run out a Snapcaster here. I think I'm not going to. Okay, I'm going to wait on this Wildfire until next turn when I have 2 spells up. Am I going to counter the Scalding Tarn if they crack? They don't crack, so no need to do anything. It's possible this is a little too aggressive. I think it's going to be fine. If this is just Field of Ruin again, this is also, like, they did this last game, and this denies us of the card draw, but we still get to ramp, so I think I'm just totally fine with this. Yeah, not going to Tails End Misty end of turn just because we need to have some interaction up for a threat they can play on their turn. But now we have the mana advantage, and to some extent the card advantage because we were on the draw. I did not choose the draw, this was just game 3. I think you need to choose to be on the play in this matchup. I'm going to Remand this. I'm, like, pretty happy if they Veil of Summer this Remand. Maybe I'm not. I know I just said I was, but it's a lot of cards for them. I'll Cryptic their Veil, but maybe I was just supposed to let this resolve. If they have Force, it's kind of okay, I think, too. Or I hope so. I hope it is. We could also draw a Force off of our card draw here. Seems like they have a Force. Is this actually Jeskai Day? We're currently 7-0 with Jeskai, and we're in game 3 right now of interesting draw. We're in game 3 of the 8th match. It's our 4th Omnath matchup of the day. Yikes. We don't have a Gust for that, which kind of stinks. I want to Mystic Sanctuary back my Dispute this turn. So I'm hoping that, we know they have Cryptic, we're hoping that they Cryptic here, we get to Dispute, and that they still don't Force. It seemed like they had a Force last turn, but they didn't fire one off, so I'm going to hope that they don't have one, and they're just, like, pausing to think for no reason. I'm gonna Dispute this. Sweating. They got something. They're going to dispute my Teferi. Which stinks. Okay, so now I'm going to get back Dispute so I can go snap Cryptic with Dispute up. We know they have Cryptic. We don't know the other two cards. They can Field of Ruin me off of this Mystical Dispute, I suppose. Not the end of the world. Just draw it anyways, maybe. Yeah, opponent's definitely playing well. I'm going to pass. Renin 6 is just so good in the matchup. Is Dispute really a card we want to draw when they have Renin 6? We know they have Cryptic in their hand. I think we did want to draw it. I guess the fact that they know about it does make it worse. We have one more basic in our deck. We might get to Tails into Rimblem on 7. I'm just kind of hoping that this works and we get to Tails in it on the way down. It's interesting. Wow. Wow. Do I want to... I guess we can just have this Flagstones be a shuffle. We should have a Sacred Foundry and a basic Plains left in the deck. We know they have Cryptic, but they can't currently cast it. Say that 5 times fast. I think we just shuffle away the Wildfires here, and then have Tails in, Force up, or Tails in plus Hardcast Force. I'm a little worried about them drawing a Field of the Dead, but... Have we seen... we saw an Uro last game. Uro is like their worst card in the matchup, honestly, I think. We have a ton of cards that line up really well against Uro. Uro is a 3-mana spell that doesn't impact the board. The more and more I play this matchup, the more I think, Renin 6, Omnath, Field of the Dead, Teferi, Time Raveler are all just way more scary. But what's nice is Tails End answers just all of it, you know? I think we need to force this pitching to Fairy Time Raveler, so that way we can still hold up Tails End and counter something else they play. We have Jace to kind of mitigate that card disadvantage too. They should read that we have something else because we pitched with the Force, but they probably are supposed to jam into one card here. Not that this Renin 6 is even that devastating. I do think it's worth our last Tails End. There's the Dispute. Nexus of Fate would be such a good draw here. Okay, couldn't speak that one into existence, but I will go Fun Raveler into draw a card. We're out of lands for our... Oh, we can bounce. I'm gonna pick up the Snapcaster, I guess. Yeah, I'll attack, pick up the Snapcaster. We can snap something. Okay. Whew. I think we're going to be 4-0 against Omnath. It's a little too early to count our chickens, but we're definitely ahead here by a lot. And look at this. Uro is just one of the worst things they could have been doing here. I'm not saying that they should cut Uro because I think Uro is really important against the red decks. I just don't think it's that big a deal in these matchups. Yeah, I think that, I mean, Remand is also really good against these decks. I think you just cut the 4th Remand for a spell snare. You may cut a 3rd Helix for a snare. I mean, but also, we're about to be, I think, 4-0 against Omnath today. So I'm not sure that we, need to change too much to try to beat it. This just resolves, right? It's fine. Doesn't do anything. A dual kitten, 6 months in a row. All dressed up for our 6-month anniversary, of course. I wouldn't miss it for the world. Welcome back. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if having one spell, like Force of Negation, also counters Wrenn and 6 on the draw, and having a 4th way to counter it is nice. It's also not unbeatable for whatever that's worth. They also do need to put. No, sorry, they have exactly enough to Uro again. We have plenty of answers to that. We can also instant speed these wildfires, so I guess I wasn't supposed to. Do I have a land to get with this? I have a Prairie Stream is in the graveyard. Steam Vents is in the deck. We also have a Mystic Sanctuary. So I guess I'll just shuffle away the wildfires here. Or I'll remand their Uro. And also what's nice about spots like this is we just have a Nexus of Fate in our deck, and so the long game favors us in spots like this. Instead of us just needing to find a win condition, we have a Nexus of Fate, and that will win the game the more cards we draw. So all we have to really, concern ourselves with is keeping up card advantage. Remand is so good against Uro. I think I was fine drawing this wildfire too. And I might just draw it again and just double wildfire their Triomes end of turn. Seems fine. Like, as long as we know the top card is another wildfire, we might as well just fire it off. And this, I guess does put more cards in their graveyard for Uro, but it may make their mana kind of awkward. I also don't think. Do I want to Mystic Sanctuary back Tail's End? I think so. I also don't think going after. Oh, whoops! This isn't red source. Okay, well, whatever. I'll hold this for a Field of the Dead maybe. I don't think you're supposed to kill their Mystic Sanctuary very aggressively. I'm thrilled if they're bouncing Sanctuary here. Not sure what our opponent is pausing for. Maybe they have a Typhoon or something. I mean that might mean Typhoon, that they don't want us to Tails End it, but I mean a 1/1 Shark is also not that big a deal in this spot. Just keep the wildfire on top and we can draw into it if we need it. Yeah, this is game 3, and we're playing for 8-0 on the day. This is our 4th Omnath match of the day. Maybe this matchup is fine. I don't think it is. I think that they're favored if both players play perfectly. I just, am pretty good at navigating matchups like this. Okay. 8-0 on the day. Exciting stuff. I'm going to keep this and just hope Lightning Bolt is good. You don't play a deck with Lightning Bolt and Mulligan hands where you're worried it will be bad. Yeah, I've Tails Ended a few fetch lands. That definitely is a part of the deck. Is this Yawgmoth? What are we playing against? I think I'm just gonna wildfire my flagstones here. It's a lot of lands. Did we draw land, or just land? I think land. Weird to sack the food there unless they're planning on spending this mana. They have a Yawgmoth. Kind of just dead to this. You draw so many cards and we just have nothing. Is that a start to something? This is the start of something new. We could bounce the Yawgmoth and bolt the bird and hope they just don't have a 4th land. Could be good. Yeah, I would definitely play opponent's decks on Dono Day for sure. Definitely have a soft spot for Yawgmoth in my heart. The Goose is kind of weird to me. I do think that this matchup is fine. Ahmed, 2 months in a row, welcome back. Appreciate you. Hope you're having a good day today. They're going to reset their Young Wolf by sacking Goose, which is expected. They'll probably sack the Young Wolf again, but if they have another Yawgmoth ready to, I mean, I guess they might. They have another Yawgmoth because they're bouncing, so they could just leave it alone for now. Yeah, I think we bolt the bird and just kind of hope they don't have another land and that we draw perfectly from here. Drawing a land off of Teferi is basically losing the game too. Like, They do have a fourth land, but they don't play the Yawgmoth here. We are just dead if Yawgmoth resolves next turn, but if we can draw like a Cryptic Command, we've got a chance. We drew a few too many lands that game. Play more lands in your deck, Spike. Play more lands. 24 lands is really low for a control deck. Tails End is kind of cute. They do play fetches. You can also Tails End a Undying trigger. Also counters Yawgmoth. I think I'm in for at least the first copy. Gust seems good too. I want to play like maybe 2 4s. Trim a Shark. Remand seems solid on the play. I'm going to maybe trim a Wildfire though. Could we 3 Remand? I'll play 2 Tails End. Just, I think Shark is like our worst threat in the matchup. Go down to 1. No, like the Platinum package is good if they have literally no answers to it, but they probably will have like I basically, when I was playing the deck, I would board in Reclamation Sage in basically every matchup because it's so bad for you if they have a Rest in Peace or Grafdigger's Cage and you have no way to deal with it. And so just the fact that when they have their combo going, they can just draw their entire deck and find an answer for the Platinum package. And they can also just like do a lot of chump blocking, and so the 8/8 body isn't even that good. That I don't think you want it. Yeah, that's true. They can also just Yawgmoth away the Emperion to death. Our 8-0 win streak is on the line here. Down a game. If they kill it via Yawgmoth, that's fine. I don't think it is. I think if they kill it via Yawgmoth, they've drawn 8 cards. Against the Uro piles, I cut every spot removal spell in my main board, and I bring in every blue card in my sideboard. At a Soulscar Mage, get your Emperion down to 1/1, then tucked it with Big Tef, then shot it back out at instant speed. That's awesome. Well, we drew our best card in the matchup, Anger of the Gods. I've had a really good start here. So I think that Jace's best mode is Bounce, and I'm always super happy to use it. I know I've been going on and on about how it's always correct to plus Jace, but I think we found one of the situations where it's better to actually minus. And maybe we'll be lucky if we can get 3 minuses out of this and then never brainstorm with it. Oh, no. That's what I get for shit posting about Jace. I was doing that so they couldn't play Yawgmoth here, but maybe Yawgmoth just wasn't all that scary. You know, we've got an Anger of the Gods here. Hopefully we can leverage that against our opponent. I think this is fine. You also have, Helixes to gain a bit of life. I'm going to wait. Anger is just so good against them. We would have Force to protect it from a discard spell, or Mystic Sanctuary to get it back from a discard spell. I will Tails into fetch land if they have one. Also force this. They can't. Oh, they can Veil off of Wall of Roots, actually. It's one counter off the Wall of Roots. For a Phyrexian Revoker, it's fine. Can't name lands. Pithing Needle can name lands, but doesn't stop mana abilities with its, abilities stopping powers. And Phyrexian Revoker cannot name lands, but does stop mana abilities. So those are, two good things to keep in mind. Opponent name is Shark Typhoon. I mean, obviously name Shark Typhoon here. It's the best card in Modern. Ah, what? The opponent, they've sniped me again. They've sniped me again. Phyrexian Revoker. I also only have one of these in my deck right now, which is kind of funny. Why leave Forces in? Is it just for discard? They play Eldritch Evolution, which maybe they're cutting, but Eldritch Evolution and Veil of Summer I think are pretty important to force. I think I want to have access to 2 copies. Alright, time to anger. I'm very angry that they've named Shark Typhoon. Yargle, get him. I bought this today. I bought the Yargle art today. We can also bolt this right now. Kind of like that. Nice little 3-for-1. I am interested in Tails ending that Verdant's Catacombs. Also interested in just making a big 5/5 Shark. But they've been missing land drops for a while, so seems good to me. I also can't Veil of Summer this. It's kind of nice that now we can make a 3/3 Shark without having to use our Sanctuary yet. Thank you, Urborg. Seeing a tap Scalding Tarn is always weird, but it's just good to like not have to Sanctuary anything back yet. Path is kind of nice to have. Let's get back Tails End, I think. Maybe this is not too good, but having just like that Omnath Insurance feels good to me. I mean, they know about it, so they won't like fetch into it. Later, Kodo. Have a good day. Is this Court of Calling for 0 to get a Dryad Arbor? It's kind of a nice play. Did I say Omnath Insurance? I meant Yawgmoth Insurance. Just kind of dazed from these Omnaths. 4 of our 8 matches, besides this one, I guess 4 of our 9 matches now have been Yawgmoth decks. Alright, I'm not going to path right now. I think I'll path on their turn. Also, we might be able to burn them out, actually. 2 Helixes is 6, plus 5 points of damage is... It's not quite enough. But 2 Helixes also gain 6 life, so I'm going to take 3. I'm going to take 3. Could Tails in this trigger, but I think I'm just going to snap Helix and keep my Shark up in play. Yeah, Playcrafter is cute. Alright, that can give me back a burn spell, so we should be in good shape here. I don't. I forgot about the discard clause, but I don't. That is certainly something to think about here. I don't think it's very relevant though. Just gonna go for it, I guess. I don't think that my opponent has spot removal in their deck right now. If they do, we get to put them to 1. So I guess they could have like surgical, but whatever. It's also not that big a deal. So we're gonna get back to Helix, but then we're going to attack. We're not gonna Helix them before we deal damage with the Shark, of course. All right, going to game 3. I was thinking that Shark Typhoon was going to be my worst threat, but I do think that maybe Teferi Time Raveler is a lot worse on the draw. So I'll go ahead and bring in the second Typhoon for that. It did look pretty good that game. Alright, game 3. Our 8-0 win streak is on the line. We're playing for 9-0 on the day. Last time I played this deck, I won 12 matches in a row. I think this deck is maybe just great. Keep. Opponent has mulligan to 6. We're not supposed to upkeep there because of Court of Calling, I think. Because they could like Court for Spellskite. I guess Spellskite doesn't do it. But they could Court for something. There just like almost isn't anything they could have there. I know you're beaming, but that's my serious response to your joke. Have I considered it's not the deck but the pilot? People say that stuff from time to time, but that never really makes sense to me because I'm like playing, you know, what I believe to be one of, you know, the best decks of the format, and I've like carefully selected these cards to be the tools I want to play with, you know. It's like, you know, if I'm, you know, so good at Magic, but I just am bad at I play bad decks and I'm not actually good at Magic, you know. Like a big part of being good at Magic is being able to play the correct deck. Maybe I was supposed to force that, but I think I prefer to hold force here. Yeah, it's the suit. Look good, play good. You'll know that you've run into an aspiring Spike fan in the wild when they're wearing a full suit and they're polite to you. I have carefully selected my tools such as Yargle Anger of the Gods. How could you say something so controversial yet so brave? Alright, I'm gonna cycle the Typhoon here. We really would like to find a Remand or a Tail's End or, you know, maybe a Bolt for the Goose, just a way to stop Yawgmoth from getting us here. I guess we could Anger. If we Anger, Yawgmoth isn't that good by himself here. I think this is fine to Anger in this spot. It's possible that you're supposed to wait, but I've already cast the card. Thank you, Yargle. Thank you, Yargle. Yargle's such a good friend. Friend of the channel, Yargle. Epic collab. So Reduke, aka Mr. Black Green X, isn't a good player. Reduke does not play Jund when Reduke is trying to play... When Reduke is trying to, like, play a deck for a tournament, you know? Reduke doesn't play Jund at like Worlds or Pro Tours. Reduke plays Jund for fun. So that there's a difference, right? Well, game over. I think we're 9-0 now. Woo! I mean, I also spend a lot on paid actors for the stream, which is pretty taxing. No way not in the past 3 years has Reed top 8 with Abzan. Kind of semantic-y. Maybe it is the last 3 years and just time has totally lost meaning, but I feel like Absent hasn't been playable in the last like 3 years. It's probably more like 5. Pro Tier Ixalan 2 years ago. I mean, maybe I can just stand corrected here. That's crazy. Feels like so much longer ago than 2 years. We are officially in garbage time. Yeah, I think our opponent is currently flipping through their rulebook looking for 104.3a, seeing the exact timing restrictions on that. For those of you who don't know, the timing restrictions are a player may concede the game at any time, a player who concedes the game leaves the game immediately, and that player loses the game. Very, very powerful rule. Not too many players know about it. I guess we just have 12 points to burn here, but we're also in garbage time. Nothing we do matters. Yeah, also, what's a modern PT? Nine and 0 on the day. 9 and 0 on the day. Yeah, we're just in garbage time there. Nothing we do matters. Just like Ultimating Teferi wins the game. Snapcaster burn spells is probably like the only way they win somehow. Like we just use their mana to not get any card advantage. But it also almost definitely wins. GG's. Neutron. This hand is pretty close on the play. It's obviously nuts if we draw Wildfire, but I'm going to mulligan. Legendary 15 and 0 Spike Stream, dude, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. Ready to lose to Tron. I mean, Tron's even a good matchup, I think. Because we have all these Wildfires in the main deck. Glad we mulliganed that first hand. What's the Time Warp deck tomorrow? I'm not 100% sure. I'm gonna think about it, but I've just been asked build a deck with Time Warp, and there's this Jeskai deck I built a while ago. I thought was really cool. So like you play fires, then you play Soulfire, activate Soulfire's ability, Time Warp, and you're taking infinite turns. And I liked that deck, and maybe I'll play it again. Oh, a little bit of lag, a little bit of lag. I do have plans to play a tournament this weekend. There's a Sunday PTQ, which I think I'm gonna play instead of Yeah, well, next turn we can maybe Remand into Bolt. Yeah, I think I'm gonna play the Sunday PTQ instead of the Saturday challenge, but maybe I'll just do both, seeing how I feel. Because I've skipped the weekend tournaments for a little while now. Okay, I think that I would like to Remand into Bolt if I can this turn. I'm going to try to do that. Yeah, but Raveler definitely very likely. Could also be some kind of weird burn prowess hybrid deck where they are playing Manamorphose just in a burn deck, you know. Respond to this prowess trigger, of course, because we know they have a bolt. Do I know which deck I'd play in the PTQ? I mean, maybe this one. Like, last time I played this deck. I mean, so yesterday I did play 2 matches of this deck, and I can't remember what I lost to, but then I also punted a match against Mill Rogues, and then I'm like, wow, this Rogue deck is so cool. Let's spend the whole stream brewing Rogues. Cool. And didn't really play this deck yesterday. But the last time I streamed it, before that I was 13 and 2. Let me just let this resolve. They hit Bobble Swift Spear. Yikes. Now I wish I had forced. Not a huge difference between being at 2 and being at 3, so I'm not going to force the Bobble. We do get to snap Bolt the Swift Spear and still have Force up. Love to draw a Lightning Helix. We have 3 of those in the deck. Oh, yes! Okay, we'll do it. We'll do it. Because we're 9-0. Or somebody... We've got a command, actually, for it. Lightning Helix. What's the command? Yeah. It's not quite this level of Lightning Helix, but it's pretty good.
What is on top of the deck? What is on top of the deck? Oh, it's Lightning Helix! Oh my god!
Dude, I love Randy so much. That clip, yeah, that clip is Magic history. We're 1 mana short of Teferi into Snap Helix. So I guess I'll just play it real safe and go Snap Helix right now. Yeah, which I agree just feels like it ends the game. I mean, Bedlam Raveler costs 1, 2, 3, 4 mana, so like it's even just like remandable. Resolves. I think I'm gonna plus Teferi before I brainstorm, just dig a little deeper here. Alright. I hereby declare garbage time. Gonna path this guy now. Yeah, garbage times where every control player thrives. Well, if my opponent's not going to concede, I'll do the thing. Is my entire personality just like catchphrases while I'm ahead in Magic Online? Kind of feels like it is. But we're hard casting Shark Typhoon, we're streets ahead. Not the worst personality you could have. Baubles are a little weird with no Luris, but still trigger Prowess for 0 mana. Yeah, we're streets ahead with this hard cast Shark Typhoon stream. Oh yeah, I forgot to plus Jace. I keep forgetting to plus Jace, but I do firmly believe that it is always better to plus Jace than it is to brainstorm, but I keep clicking brainstorm instead. But like, why would you ever brainstorm with Jace when you could plus? When you have a modal card, it's really just like never correct to choose a different mode than your favorite one. And it's always good to have a mantra that like gets you really focused on only doing one thing and not picking a different mode when it might be better. So always plus 2 Jace. Yeah, the mode is first on the list for a reason, because it is the best and the only one you should do. So you should stop reading. You know, it's 2 loyalty, so it doesn't die to bolt. You get to manipulate the top of your opponent's library, which is a super, you know, unique and powerful effect. It's just great. It works your way up to the ultimate. Yeah, brainstorming is terrible. Like, brainstorming is like even really bad in a mana base with fetch lands, because if you put 2 cards back and then you shuffle, then you lose those cards forever. And, you know, why would you put a card in a deck if you don't want to draw it? So, yeah, I just don't really get brainstorming with Jace. Never really made much sense to me. Opponent concedes to Snap Bolts, which makes sense because they're at 3 life. Up a game, up a game. Time to bring in the Platinum package. This is actually the first time we've brought in the Platinum package this today, just today. Kind of interested in Anger too. They are playing Kiln Fiend. Maybe we just play Gusts instead. We'll see. I don't want these Remands or Force of Negations. I kind of want to go down to 2 Teferi, 2 Typhoon. Anger seems like a little too slow on the draw. I think it's probably better than the second Typhoon, though. Tails In is for the Omnath matchups mostly, and it's like the best sideboard card I think you can play against those decks. But it is also good against Mono Greentron. It's very good against them. It's good against Oops All Spells, Adnaz, the blue control mirrors. Okay, you can keep this, I guess. Can maybe get greedy and Wildfire, like our island for a basic mountain, and then cast Anger. If we see Kiln Fiend off of this, I might do that. It is possible this is just win, 4 mana win the game. And if it is, we will be not 10-0 on the day, back-to-back 5-0s. Feel really good about our chances to win this game at least. Yeah, I guess I will Wildfire my island here, get a mountain. The huge Experimental Frenzy would be like so unbeatable here. We're gonna path this, I guess. Lightning Helix and Platinum Emperion is a nombo also because your life total can't change. Sure. Alright, opponent, do you have an answer to this in your deck? Am I going to block if they attack? No. Yeah, no. Too many layers, scoop them up. I can't tell what's meta and what's real anymore. I think we want to get a Hallowed Fountain so we can cast Cryptic. I'm just not going to attack. I know, I guess 2 attacks does do it, but you know, we also, like, the only way we lose is if they answer this, so I kind of maybe want to play a slightly longer game. Dart Raveler, discard 2 Lava Spikes. Well, this seems to be unbeatable. I was like, maybe I could have just snap experimented, but my plan is to Wildfire their mountain and then cast Experiment. I'm not going to attack into the double dart, I think. We don't get to kill both creatures. Not sure what this pause is about. Maybe I will perform a lag check. Can't Wildfire mountain with dart in the yard. Ah. Yeah. So I guess we Wildfire our own Flagstones and then say no to the Wildfire ability. And then say yes to the Flagstones ability. It's kind of funny that that was the correct play. Alright, they were having a hard time with 1. Let's see how they handle 2. It's going great, Tannen. How's it going, buddy? Good to hear from you. We're 9-0, and we're up a game. I think we're about to be 10-0 on the day with Jeskai, which is very exciting. I would never dare compare myself to Paul Cheon, but I do distinctly remember a really cool stream where Nahiri came out and Paul had like this crazy run with Jeskai Nahiri. I'm just gonna let Jace die. And then Helix the Bone Crusher and kill them. Or maybe just cast Anger. Yeah. They can kill an Emperion if they double dart and have a bolt, but it's fine. Do not type vibe check instead of lag check. Tempting. So we can Helix the Raveler and kill it. Have to do it in response to this next prowess trigger. I think I'd rather just save the Helixes for their face, maybe. The Raveler just isn't doing too much. We can like snap path it too if we need to deal with it. Maybe we are supposed to snap path. They're thinking about attacking, which kind of makes me think that they have an Abrade here, right? You losing this game would be such a bummer. Let me take a draw. Because like them like pausing and thinking about attacking, assuming they're not just like forgetting how this card works, does like imply a Braid being a card in their hand, which would not be good. So I wanted to take a draw step, see if maybe we draw a counter spell. Opponent says GG though. So 10 and 0 on the day with Jeskai. Guess I'll play this deck this weekend. Last time I streamed this deck, last time I played this deck, I went on a sick 12-match win streak. So, the goal today, I guess, is to beat that, to win 3 more matches and beat our record of 12 matches in a row with this deck. 10-0 in what's more impressive, 10-0 in games or 10-0 in matches? 10-0 in matches is more impressive in my opinion. By like a decent bit too.